So while the rest of the European nations all coordinate together to continuously beat the war drums together in some sort of bloodthirsty orgy and just completely just blinded by the mess and catastrophe that they've endured, that they've encountered, that they have are willing to sacrifice even their own nations for. There's at least one individual that seems to got their head on straight. The Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban, or is it Orban or Orban? I don't know how to pronounce the accents there, but Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban doesn't mince words. He sees Volodymyr Zelensky not as a leader seeking to end the war, but as one fixated on securing more aid. The Ukrainian president does not want peace, Orban said. He wants aid. And EU's response, pouring in more money, more weapons, more everything. But is it really about support? Or just another open ended cash pipeline? Orban stands firm. So this was him speaking directly to the European Council, to the European unions, just as they were announcing more and more support during their Ukraine summit. And Prime Minister Justin Trudeau here in Canada also pledged support in the tune of $5 billion that somehow we're just able to push out the money out of our woo-ha, but not have the money to actually fix homelessness, to build more houses, to get people uh, fed so they're not wasting time in lines by the millions at food banks across this country. So many things that could have been done, invested wisely into this country, but we are dead set in beating the war drums along with our European nations in the hopes that somehow it's going to affect Trump. That's literally what it comes down to. It's some sort of, rantish fetish to be angered at Trump. So we're going to do everything we can to keep this war going. But here's Viktor Orban explaining this.
That me as a Hungarian prime minister should shut up always, It's not written anywhere. So I am here to represent the national interest of Hungary. And on that basis, I would like to make deals, agreements, compromises, whatever, with the other country leaders who represent their own national interest. So I don't represent the globalist elite here, or the European bureaucrats, or somebody who is just, swimming on the sky. No, it's not my job. I'm standing firmly on the basis of the national interest. And I would like to make deal, compromise, agreements with the others who represent also their national interest, because Hungary first. You are from Germany. I suppose for you, Germany is the first. That's right. So let's sit down and understand what is good for the Germans, what is for the Hungarians. You are big, we are smaller. Let's make a deal how to cooperate. That's European politics. Not to say that you should follow the unity, shut up. That's what you are saying. It's impossible. It's impossible. So that's the difference probably.
So he makes a lot of sense there. That nations should be focusing on themselves. And that's not in means to be selfish or means to be, not caring towards other nations. It means the fact that you, the politicians, the elected leaders of said countries, have a responsibility. You have a responsibility to serve and protect the needs of your citizens. If you want to help and pledge support afterwards, that's fine, but make sure you keep your promise, keep your responsibility towards your people. That, hey, and Viktor Orban says, hey, I'm willing to make deals with other countries, but I am the Hungarian president. I'm Hungary first. The same way the German chancellor should be Germany first. But right now, it's the complete opposite. It's a complete 180. We are dead last. We don't have a say in any of this, and it's all blind support because an international conglomeracy like NATO, like BlackRock, like the WEF have coordinated these people like a religious cult in ordinance to stay afoot on the one agenda. And that agenda is continuing this war. Regardless of how they feel about Trump. And They called this guy a right winger. They called this guy a white supremacist, a guy who's making really just common sense to this situation.
Unity does not mean that me as a Hungarian prime minister should shut up always. You know, it's not written anywhere. So I am here to represent the national interest of Hungary. And on that basis, I would like to make deals, agreements, compromises, whatever, with the other country leaders who represent their own national interest. So I don't represent the globalist elite here, or the European bureaucrats, or somebody who is just, swimming on the sky. No, it's not my job. I'm standing firmly on the basis of the national interest. And I would like to make deal, compromise, agreements with the others who represent also their national interest, because Hungary first. You are from Germany. I suppose for you, Germany is the first. That's right. So let's sit down and understand what is good for the Germans, what is for the Hungarians. You are big, we are smaller. Let's make a deal how to cooperate. That's European politics.
And I'd just like to ask to the European nations, I would just like to ask them, I would like to ask the German government right now, as they're continuously cracking down on people or, hate speech on the internet and reposting memes that are hilarious. What good? What good is continuing this war, advancing the destruction of, say, the Nord Stream pipeline, for example? How is that beneficial to the national interests of your countries? Because now you have devastated your own population, that they are in an energy crisis right now. They were getting a huge amount of energy from Russia that were easily accessible through this pipeline. And now that's been destroyed because the United States admitted that they destroyed it purposely to entangle Russian oil companies from not producing into European nations. And they want to isolate them out and put American pipelines to sell them their oil. How is any of this beneficial to the European nations? Better yet, how is that beneficial to our country here in Canada? Because we're not sending our resources to European nations. As far as I know, Alberta's not shipping their natural gas and oil to the UK and Germany and that. But yet, you congratulate on destroying the pipeline because, Russia's not giving their energy away. So, woo! Own on them! Woo! But what does that do for the other nations? What does that do for your country? That now your people, during harsh winter months, are going to be freezing. That now they're dealing with even more inflation because of the reckless spending. Because of how much money they have printed and siphoned out of the circulation of their nations into this money laundering scheme of the Ukraine war.
Not to say that you should follow the unity, shut up. That's what you are saying.
So, exactly the point. You got to follow in line, stay in line, shut the hell up. That's what this is. And that's what I'm seeing all across social media. That's what I'm seeing all across friends that I've known for years, that have just decided, screw you. I'm not ever going to be friends with you. Why? Because I heard something on TV and I got to stay in line. If you don't go into line, then you're obviously a traitor. And even right now, and I find this so hilarious. To watch my fellow Canadian brothers and sisters who just previously were rah America, Canada proud, go against America, Canada proud, Canada strong and free. Now that there's a peace agreement on foot with Trump, Ukraine, and Russia, all of a sudden the conversation shift from Canada proud to Slava Ukrainian. Why? Because the TV told them to. because that's what the general ethos directs them to. Get into line or shut the hell up. That's what they want you to do. And people have no idea why they're doing it. They have no idea of the extent of what they're putting themselves into. They are completely blinded and arrogant to the situation. They have no idea how this war even started. They still want you to believe that it started on a cold winter day in February, and not tell you the extent of the entire escapade that led to this war. That's too much shock for them. So they try to shield it out. They try to shield it out and say that's Russian propaganda. Even though that is the historical context that brought us to the brink of war, that we provoked Russia aggressively for almost 2 decades, to the point that Russia decided enough is enough and I'm going to go in. I'm going to go in and defend the people of the Donbass region, the Donetsk region, the people of Crimea, and we are going to deal with this because you have provoked us for such a long time. And yet, nobody's willing to research that. Nobody's willing to read into that. Nobody cares. Nobody even cares about the Ukrainian lives, really. Because if you really cared about the Ukrainian lives, you'd be damning. You'd be condemning all the actions of people like Viktor Nuland. You'd be screaming at the top of your lungs about the overthrowing the Ukrainian government that allowed a bunch of neo-Nazis to flourish, making it the most corrupted nation in Eastern Europe. You'd be demanding an investigation on why a crack addict son like Hunter Biden was able to sit on an energy board over there, and that the vice president ordered that country never to investigate. If you gave a damn about Ukrainians, you'd be supportive of a peace agreement to save their lives. But no, none of you people don't give a damn. It's all about conformity. It's all about staying in line, staying in unity, anything to go against Trump, anything to go against Putin, because that is what the TV told you. That is what the mainstream media told you. That's what mainstream culture dictated to you. Instead of thinking clearly, thinking rationally, and wondering, why is this happening? And what good is it for? You know, it's like the song from the 60s, War, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Have we not learned from that? Or was it just a pointless song?